this week on Why the Hell Is This Still a Thing? The Silver Arrows are coming off a mixed bag of results in Canada, with George Russell struggling in Montreal, while Lewis Hamilton got another podium in the Great North of Canada at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Sadly for Lewis, despite the best efforts, he still has remained winless since Saudi Arabia 2021, with the winless streak still continuing. Of course, entering this week's events and entering Austria, Lewis Hamilton decided this would be the week to strut his peacock feathers and bring the series back from the dead. As Lewis Hamilton would spend this week complaining about how unfair Red Bull has been this year, and that the FIA needs to introduce rules to prevent Red Bull from upgrading their car, while focusing on their 2024 car, while also focusing on their 2023 car at the same time, just so that it could be on a level playing field. Complain about how it's not fair and all of that. Max Verstappen responded by telling Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes to get the fuck over it, and that life is not fair, just like in Formula 1, and that Verstappen and company weren't complaining about Mercedes when Mercedes were dominating for a decade. Not many lies detected here. I mean, hey, Lewis and Hamilton sexuals or the Hamilton Darfs. Not Red Bull and Verstappen's fault that your team is now a poorly run shithole like Ferrari. Maybe y'all need to step your game up and be better. Because this is where Mercedes was before Abu Dhabi. Since Abu Dhabi, all the way downhill. And of course, despite that though, there's still a race this weekend, as we would have qualifying, and of course this will be the first sprint race of the season up in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. A race weekend in qualifying that saw a lot of controversy in qualifying, as we had 47 lap times deleted in qualifying due to track limit violations. Track limits? The fuck are those? Sorry F1 fans, can't relate. That ain't a thing in NASCAR. The fuck are track limits? Can't relate to yous. And of course in the qualifying, but of course all that would change in qualifying, as both Mercedes cars struggled while the Red Bulls remained on top. But we still have the sprint race left to go. So now on to the sprint race in Austria, and this sprint race, not a whole lot really happened. Both Mercedes continued to struggle. They struggled to the point where both of them would end up near the back of the field for the Austrian GP. Lewis and Mercedes, they spent so much time this weekend complaining and bitching about how unfair Ferrari is over the rest of the field, and that the FIA does nothing about it. They've spent so much time bitching and complaining about Red Bull that they forgot they had a race this weekend. And meanwhile, up at the front, Verstappen continued to dominate and win, despite everyone changing tires near the end of the race from the intermediates to the softs and the hards and mediums. It still didn't change anything, as Verstappen still continued to go on and win the sprint shootout. So our first sprint race of the season, it sees Max Verstappen claim victory.
Yo, hey, yo, ho, super much, super much, yo, hey, yo, ho. Cut that bitch off!
Oh, god damn it, no. No, how many times have I told you? No playing the goddamn Verstappen intro. No playing the goddamn Verstappen win music every time Verstappen wins a sprint shootout race. We don't play that goddamn music for a fucking sprint win. We only play it for a real fucking win. God damn it, some people are getting fucking fired today. Just like how a bunch of people at FIA should get fired for the track limit things. Or maybe they should just get rid of track limits as a whole. I mean, NASCAR would never. But anyway, now on to the race in Austria. In this race, it was the Max Verstappen domination show, as both Mercedes cars would continue to climb through the field, even though Lewis would have a bit of bigger hurdle to climb than Russell. As midway through the race, Lewis Hamilton would get a 5-second penalty, beep, for track limit violations. He would later serve it on in a pit stop. In fact, though, during this race, though, we would have a moment, though, where Max Verstappen would actually lose the lead. Oh my god, it happened. For the first time since Miami, Max Verstappen is not leading an F1 race. Holy shit, quick, somebody alert the press and sound the alarms. This is not a drill. Verstappen is not leading an F1 race. But that was short-lived, because even though Leclerc would get the lead on pit cycle strategy, Verstappen would still get ahead of him. Damn, the one time Ferrari actually got the pit strategy right. And it still didn't matter anyway. The Ferrari just has no fucking pace compared to the Red Bulls. Damn it, I can't even blame Ferrari for once. They actually did things right. Just in the end, Verstappen and Red Bull are just better. Damn. But despite that, though, both Mercedes would struggle throughout this race. They would both finish around 7th and 8th, respectively, with Lewis finishing ahead of Russell. Meanwhile, up front, we would have a bit of a battle in the late laps for the final podium spot between Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez, where Sergio would initially get ahead of Carlos, only for Sergio to forget where the DRS detection line is, which allowed Carlos to get Sainz to get DRS to get right back ahead of Sergio for about 2 straight laps, until the 3rd lap, Sergio finally figured out where the fucking line was and made sure to not beat Sainz to the line. And then once Checo got the DRS on the 3rd attempt, he finally got past him to get to the podium. Only took you 3 tries. But in the end, none of that would matter, because that whole battle, it would prevent Sergio Perez from catching up to Leclerc in the closing laps. As Leclerc would get 2nd, but none of that matters because they all finished right behind Max Verstappen. As Max Verstappen goes on and gets another win in Austria and continues to extend his championship lead and continues to bitch slap the entire field this season. Okay, now you can play the goddamn Verstappen music. Now play the fucking music.
Yo, hey, yo, ho, super much, super much, yo, hey, yo, ho, super much, super much, yo, hey, yo, ho, super much, super much, yo, hey, yo, ho, super
So now Red Bull gets their 9th win in the season, as Red Bull remains undefeated, as we are now closing in on the midway point of the season. And everyone wondering, is Red Bull really going to win? Is Red Bull seriously going to go undefeated this season? Or are they going to lose a race? Because so far, we've been thinking, because so far Red Bull has won 9, has gone 9 for 9. And Verstappen now has his 7th win of the season. And Verstappen has now won his 5th straight race. Holy shit, Verstappen truly is bitch slapping the field. It's not even fair. But of course the big controversy would come after the race. And of course during the race, Lewis Hamilton would then, his diva antics would catch up to him finally. Because during the race, Toto Wolff had enough of Lewis Hamilton's bitching. And Toto told Lewis that we know the car is bad, and told Lewis to shut the fuck up and drive. Holy shit, Toto Wolff finally grew a pair and told Lewis to quit being a fucking diva. Holy fucking shit, who the fuck had this on their bingo card? Because usually Toto Wolff has done nothing but kiss Lewis's ass the last couple years. But yeah, now even Toto Wolff is getting fed up. Yeah, Toto Wolff, the biggest Lewis Hamilton ass kisser there is in F1. And he's getting fed up with Lewis Hamilton's bullshit. That's how you know Lewis's diva antics are getting really fucking old. When your number 1 ass kisser has had enough of your shit. Like this, yeah, telling Lewis to shut up. Like this is totally not gonna end poorly at all. I better go grab my popcorn. I can't wait to see this spill out. In fact, you think it's this bad, Lewis stars? Oh, it's about to get worse, because after the race, hold up, we got a bunch of penalties. Beep, 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 beep. Because there was an assload of track limit violations after the race. One of them involved Lewis Hamilton, which means pretty much everybody that wasn't a Red Bull car got a penalty. Everyone that wasn't a Red Bull car in Charles Leclerc. Pretty much everybody from 4th on down, effectively. And other than that, like, the only ones I think that didn't get a penalty were Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, and Alonso. Everybody else, penalties for everyone, including Lewis Hamilton. Also, Russell didn't get one either, too. Throw him in there. Yeah, Lewis would get a 10-second penalty, which now means that he drops a position and goes now behind George Russell in the finishing order. Oh boy, this isn't gonna end poorly at all. But yeah, maybe track limits is a terrible idea for F1. Hey, NASCAR fans can't relate. What the fuck are track limits? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. It sounds like some stupid liberal mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. Or some F1 elitist bullshit. But yeah, what will happen in the drama between Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff? Will they be able to mend the burned bridge? Or will this result in Lewis Hamilton leaving Mercedes? Will it hamper Lewis's hopes of getting a new contract extension? Will Toto and Lewis settle everything with a very depressing hand job? Tune in to find out. The drama should get juicy, though. God damn it, I miss when we didn't have to do these videos every week.